Okay, back here with Coach Hall after observing his lesson. Talk about just some things that he did well, things that maybe could have done differently. As teachers, we always critique ourselves hard, and we always can think about something that we should have done different or maybe better. Before we left the room, or as soon as we left the room, Coach Hall immediately started into me, I could have done this or that. He was already thinking about maybe how he could have made the lesson better. Probably as the lesson was going on, he was thinking that in his mind. So what do you think that maybe you could have done a little bit better during that lesson?
I thought that the explanation of the assignment and what was expected was clear. I felt like I did a good job of telling them and showing them, but when the level of instruction got to the part where we did it together, I felt like I could have engaged each student better. I didn't involve every single student individually, and I felt like if I would have forced them to write their own as an individual and me be there to guide each single one as an individual, it would have taken more time, but all of the students would have been more engaged and more involved, and the information would have sunk in better.
Yeah, that's one thing that I noticed, or that I watched, and the kids were engaged, listening, but like you said, engaged in actual activity a little bit better. I thought that they were great. They were listening, but like you said, I do agree that maybe they could have been a little bit more engaged from the activity standpoint. I do want to point out one thing I really did like, and this wasn't in your coaching plan here, but when the young lady misspelled the word, I like how you handled that, where you never pointed out to her that she misspelled the word on the board, but you said, what does that say right there? And then she caught it herself. I thought that was a great way to handle that, and that goes along with your classroom management, which we felt like beforehand was not a problem. But I really enjoyed that. Seeing you handle her like that, that was great. I thought that the lesson went well. I like the practice, the model practice technique. It seems so simple, but that doesn't mean that it's not useful, obviously. And hopefully we were able to show it being used over different disciplines, different classrooms, different subject matter. Coach Hall is also certified special ed. He's in the gym, the weight room, and health room, so he's sort of in a lot of different settings. So a teaching practice that expands different subject matter, I felt like was important, and hopefully the kids got something out of that with the model practice. Is there anything else maybe that you liked or didn't like about it, or any way that we could improve on that?
I mentioned before how I thought I could have got the students engaged individually and writing their own instead of just doing one whole group. And the problem with that is I don't have time. I was worried I wouldn't have enough time to go see every single student. So to engage and involve every single student and have enough time, I think in the future I could put them into small groups, say only 2 or 3, and that would give me more time to be able to get to every group, but it also would make the group small where there wouldn't be students that weren't participating. It would force all of them to participate and give me enough time to instruct and assist and model those students more on an individual basis. I think that would be a good improvement.
I agree with that 100%. You know, I like doing this type of a meeting or feedback right after the lesson. I think it's fresh in our minds, fresh in your minds, even though we watched it on the video. It was just a couple of periods ago, so it's still fresh in our minds, and Coach Hall's already thinking about ways to improve it. And that's what good teachers do. Overall, I think it went well. I think the students will benefit from that style, a model practice, and can't wait to see how their work turns out